Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Edwards, and joining me on the other end of this teleconference is the one and only David Allen. David, thanks for joining me today.
Dave, thanks for the invitation. As always, it's always such fun to hang out and chat with you.
Well, I always say I'm the GTD student, and I'm always trying to learn from the master. And what's great is some of our viewers to these segments have actually sent me some questions and wanted me to ask you a few things. So you get to teach me, and you get to teach a whole lot of other people.
Yay. And also, I have to insert here, we've gotten a little bit of feedback that a lot of what we've been talking about is pretty basic stuff, pretty elemental GTD stuff. And what if we were to do a segment that dug a little deeper?
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to do that. I'm not sure what deeper means. It's all been deeper to me, but that'd be a great conversation. So if you want to handle the questions first or do the deeper stuff, trial first, go for it. Either one.
All right. Well, first of all, I got to tell you a funny story that maybe you can relate to, and maybe others can relate to as well. We are recording this right after the Labor Day holiday here in the United States, and we're recording this on a Tuesday. And I usually do my weekly reviews on a Sunday night, but because of the holiday, I decided, well, I'll do it on Monday night. And I didn't get around to it last night. And this morning, as I sat down in my office, I cannot tell you like how out of sorts I feel. It just doesn't feel right. And it's amazing to me that I've never thought of it like that.
Well, people often say, how often should I do the weekly review? And my answer, my simple, dumb answer is duh, when you need to. But defining when need to is the challenge.
Yeah, because I've
Like
discovered
when,
that I needed it.
yeah. Well, and me too. I do
Yeah.
it when I need to do it. And that could be every 3 days, it could be every 3 weeks. So, we just came up with the weekly review idea because that seemed to be the context that was the most common that would work for people in that kind of recursion or that kind of time frame. After several years ago, I ran across a piece of statistics or research that your brain tends to do a control alt delete and dump stuff after about 7 or 8 days. So trying to recreate what happened 2 weeks ago in a meeting,
Yeah.
needle in a haystack. Whereas if it only happened in the last week, you could pretty much capture what you needed to capture or what you might have missed, all the OS stuff. Like, oh, shoot. Oh, that reminds me, I need to, within that kind of a shorter time frame context. So there seems to be something neurological or cognitive or whatever about that kind of recursion of a weekly review.
Yeah. Well, I think for some reason, I mean, doing it every week, it kind of is part of my habit. It's part of my ritual, which makes sense. But I have never experienced what I've experienced this morning. And so now the first thing I have to do when you and I finish talking is I have to do that review, or I really think my entire week is going to be out of sorts.
There
Plus,
were
I'm thinking it's
times, Dave,
Monday and it's Tuesday. So
yeah, there were times, Dave, when I had to do like a weekly review daily. So many things were showing up from so many different angles. And when you're down in the weeds doing the work to do, like, God, where am I in space and time? And just come up for air and look around and then reorient myself for the next 3 hours. So, but again, that had to do with the volume, intensity, and speed of change that were going on in my world at that time. That's not going on now, but when it was, that's what I did.
yeah.
So when it is, that's what you do.
Well, a full inbox is a good reminder, and that is kind of my trigger that I need to dig in a little bit deeper and get things organized when that box fills up.
Unless you truly trust yourself, Dave, that within a certain period of time, as long as you glance to find the landmines that might blow up in the meantime, you can then relax and say, look, I'll get to this on Friday, or I'll get to this on Sunday, or I'll get to this at the end of the week. And that's
Mhm.
what you have to trust. See, a trusted system includes your behaviors, not just the content and the system. It includes your trust in your engagement with the system. So I let my life kind of fall apart, just throw it all in my in basket and whatever, because I know that soon enough I will then get to it and deal with it. And yeah, sometimes an emergency scan, though that's a bit inefficient because they're going to have to go back to it. But sometimes an emergency scan is exactly the thing that they needed to do, especially people that are getting tons of stuff in email or in Slack or in their or in whatever their media channels are. Sometimes what they need to do is a quick look to make sure there are no burning barns, in terms of things they might need to decide or handle or deal with or whatever. But once you've done that, you then, if you trust yourself that you're going to do a thorough bring up the rear guards kind of a game, at the end of your week, at the end of your day, at the end of your time frame, then you can relax. That's cool. No sweat.
David Allen is the author of Getting Things Done. I'll be sharing more of our conversation with David in upcoming episodes, so don't miss any of them. I post videos about GTD weekly, usually on Wednesdays, sometimes more. So don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below, and then you won't miss any of our conversations with David Allen. If you are still trying to implement GTD so that it can be the core of your productivity system, I have an idea for you. I use GTD within Evernote, the popular online note-taking app. And I have created an online on-demand course. It is called Getting Things Done with Evernote. And as the title describes, the purpose of the course is to teach you how to implement GTD within Evernote. Now, once I learned this system, which I kind of created myself after a lot of trial and error, it has become key to my productivity. I can manage all of my personal life, my business, my teaching. Every aspect of my life is now managed and under control. I can do the weekly review. I can keep track of tasks, everything inside Evernote. So if you're interested in using GTD's principles in an online digital system, check out my course, Getting Things Done with Evernote. You can find out more information at daveedwardsmedia.com. Don't forget, subscribe. We'll see you next week.